Good morning and welcome to Asperg this morning, Asperg News Break. My name remains Israel Ibeleme, and with me in the studio is Alhaji Abdulmalik.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
How was yesterday?
Fine.
Yesterday we have so much trending news from Davido and other little issues, including national issues.
Yeah.
We also have issues how to do with dollar. How some videos flying around and people are now moving their local currency to
dollars.
To bank.
To the banks.
There's some videos yes online that people have to move their local currency to bank, and at the same time there are also videos where showed especially the one that happened in Kogi State.
Yeah, okay, the arrest.
The arrest. And let me begin with you. How did you feel that one have to keep like over 800 billion in a particular house?
Well,
not in a bank.
Yeah.
Not like in a secure. Like I'm always say, I know bank have so much security. I don't know how they secure, but in a building. Let me also say, for you to send that money to that particular house, there must be a blue van. One, there must be people that are happy to carry that's lump sum of amount. So, what is your? What is your view? What do you have to say about all of that?
Well, that is why oftentimes Nigerians keep talking about building institutions. When you have institutions, strong institutions, you will discover that the amount of money in the circulation will be known by the authority. And you discover even you as an individual, there's a limit of what you can withdraw from the bank. That is your money, but there is limit to what you can withdraw, and there is limit to what you can spend without the authority knowing about it. You have a EFCC, you have a SIFU. These are organizations that are supposed to monitor monies that are being moved here and there. Well, it's pathetic that we have money in circulation. Any money that is not in the formal bank, it means it's in circulation. People keep money at home. You instead of being in the bank, whereby it will be in the system, whereby the government can monitor it. The institutions meant to monitor this, they regulate how the money is being flow around to monitor it. But it's not there. That is to tell you that we will now come to the question of the insecurity, because in this insecurity that we are talking about today, it's being aided by fund. And since some funds doesn't pass through the formal organized system, it means we'll continue to deal with this insecurity for a very long time. It's really sad, it's really pathetic. Although we can't just continue to be criticizing every now and then, at least the EFCC has shown the lead. They are working on it, and we have seen that a House of Assembly member in Kogi State was now in the court in the name of they hack into bank details, and
how would that be possible? 1 trillion.
You know,
billion. Sorry,
these are hackers. You understand? So when they hacked, they now got access to the database of the bank, and they did all the criminality that they needed to be done by moving money. You know, it's an electronic movement, not the cash. They now move the money electronically to certain institution. From there now, they now did the physical withdrawal of the cash. So that is the problem. So we continue to hammer on building of institution. By the time EFCC becomes complete independence, you now discover that they can bite without anybody teleguiding them. You can bite without the president or anybody or Minister of Justice giving them or dictate to them on who to arrest, on who not to arrest. Kudos to them, at least they have started. By the time they become complete independent, you now discover they can bite, even pick a presidential aspirant or presidential candidate. So we are getting there.
Thank you so much. So before we proceed, if you are joining us for the first time, please do not forget to follow us on our social media handle. Our social media handle are displayed on the screen. Official Aspheric News, that is on our Facebook page. Aspheric News on Instagram, Aspheric News on Twitter. On Twitter. Then our Facebook channel remains Aspheric TV. Do not forget to subscribe on our Facebook channel and also share our content. If you want to comment or contribute, please do not forget to call +234 809999 8117 +234 809999 8117. The number displayed on the screen. just call the number. We'll pick up and also hear from you. When you are calling, please do not forget to tell us where you are calling from and your name and the location where you are calling from. Do not forget that. Thank you so much. And the first to discuss this morning will be on Daily Trust newspaper. So we are going to read them out, and we'll have to discuss discuss them on Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Parent cried out on as bandit abducted 39 children from Katsina farm.
This is pathetic. Yesterday we discussed about a sad incident of the death of Davido's son, and today again we are going to talk about another worrisome story whereby 39 children are being abducted from the farm. This is Katsina is the home state of the Mr. President. Not only Katsina alone. Now you now discover that around that axis of northeast states of Zamfara, Katsina, Sokoto, Kebbi, these are states that are being plagued by this issue of this problem of banditry. Until now, every often we keep on hearing about the Nigeria Air Force bombing them, the military killing them, but as they made announcement of Sussex, so also these bandits will try one way or the other way to cause havoc again. And now we are talking about 39 children. How do you think the parents will feel? Are they going to sleep well? I doubt if they will sleep well. It's really sad. It's really pathetic that this is even happening and in the home state of the Mr. President. What is he going to show to Nigerians to say, look, I am a Sussex? The achievement that is going, no matter what achievement that he has to show, at the end of the day, if you cannot protect the lives of citizens of your country, that is to say you are not working, and that is exactly where we are now. Whether we like it or not, we continue to hammer on this state of this problem of the insecurity. Mr. President should wake up, and he has like 5 months or 6 months to the expiration of his administration. He may just have to wake up and do something. We will continue to call on him to do something. Take for instance that days ago, the Minister of Defense, he now came out and he was saying that Nigeria doesn't need the terror alert. That what Nigeria needs is a prayer from America for Sussex. Is the America going to pray for you to succeed? We are talking about practical reality, and then you are taking to divine solution. Who does that in the 21st century that we find ourselves in? That is it's really pathetic. 39 children are being abducted from farm. At the end of the day, these are farmers, these are peasants. At the end of the day, the bandit will now extort them. They will have to sell their landed property, sell their farm produces, and to mop up all the cash and give to these people. Happening in our country, it means we have a loss. People that are law enforcement to themselves, not to the authority operating within Nigerian domain. It's really sad situation.
We also have the same Daily Trust newspaper. How are we ending security, create jobs to boost economy? So they also have the same bank fraud. Kogi Assembly candidate arrested with 326 million.
It's really sad.
Yes, and 610,500 USD dollars.
It's really sad.
They also have Tinubu will end insecurity in 6 months. Shetima.
You know why I'm laughing, Doctor? Because I'm not trying to rule it out that it's not possible for Tinubu to do it. It's possible, you understand? But to me it sounds somehow laughable that President Muhammadu Buhari, when he was General Muhammadu Buhari aspiring to lead Nigeria, he said more than this. But look at where we are today. 5 months or 6 months to the expiration to the end of his administration, we are talking about insecurity, and even in his home state, we just saw it on the way 39 children are being abducted. So I believe that Tinubu and the other presidential candidates vying for the 2023 election, they should talk less. They should look inwardly to say, okay, they should study what the present administration is doing, to study it critically, to make sure that, look, where the present administration have pitfalls and why they are not succeeding, they should look inward into it and say, okay, this is what they are not doing right, and how to mitigate the problem and solve the problem. It's not about talk shop whereby you come out to say, okay, in 6 months I will end it. Whereas at the end of the day, now when you are eventually form the government, eventually now start dragging for 2 years, 3 years, and another complete term will just go like that. So nobody is praying for this problem to linger, but they should talk less. They should look inwardly on what needs to be done. They should study the present administration problem, the pros and cons about this present administration. They should study it critically. They should study it critically before they now persuade Nigerians to say, look, give me your support, give me your mandate. I'm going to protect. That is what we need. It's not a situation whereby you just tell us that I'm going to finish Boko Haram, finish bandit, finish this, finish that in 6 months, and build an Eldorado country in Nigeria within that 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. No, we're not looking towards that. All Nigerians is so concerned about issue of security. Everybody want to be secured. Everybody want to travel from Sokoto to Lagos, from Lagos to Maiduguri freely without the fear of being attacked by a bandit or by rogues or kidnappers. That is what we want. But if you ask me, I'll say, look, Tinubu should talk less.
All right. So we also have in Daily Trust newspaper, 2 soldiers, 2025 as well fighters killed in Gondel in Borno. Don't ignore US, UK terror alert. Rep tells federal government. We have devised tactics to overwhelm enemies. Army chiefs. I also have EFCC probing Mabila project. Power minister. That is Fashola said that yesterday as well. We have in the same newspaper. We have Emirate Council shuts market in Nigeria over fear of attack. What is your?
It's really sad because let's look at it from the issue of the rep that are telling the FG not to downplay the terror alert. Well, if you observe very well, from Mr. President himself and the National Security Advisor down to the Chief of Minister of Defense, all they have been trying to do in the last few days, they are trying to downplay what the terror alert from the US and the UK. That is not the best way to go about it. What this terror alert supposed to terror alert is meant to be something to inspire the authority here to say, look, be on your toes to check the activities of bad guys within Nigeria. We are already dealing with terrorism. We are dealing with the issue of banditry. We are dealing with a lot of issues of security here and there. It should be like a wake-up call instead of the way that the government are taking it. Thank God that you have the rep, the National Assembly are now telling them to say, look, don't take it that way. Look at it as a wake-up call for you to do more and preempt these people from acting. If by the time you allow them to carry out that terror, we allow this argument of saying, no, US, you are wrong, don't tell us this, or UK, don't tell us that. We don't have enough security problem to that to warrant that such kind of warning. Although we know quite okay that terror alert will now create that panicking situation, but the government should rather take it like a wake-up call for them to do what is right, to preempt whatever situation that will turn out an ugly situation that will cost lives. That is what the Americans are trying to do. They talk about restricting their own citizens in Nigeria from moving within Abuja or other places like that. Government should take it as a wake-up call, not the way they are taking it now to say that everybody is just coming out, to the extent that the Minister of Defense is telling Nigerians that, look, America should rather pray for Nigeria instead of issuing a terror alert. That is not what Nigeria needs. It's unfortunate, it's sad.
To discuss the next newspaper headline, we'll bring a guest. Mr. Victor will join us from Lagos, and let's try to get Mr. Victor on board. And before that, Alhaji, let's also look at the statement from the National Assembly telling the federal government not to ignore the report from the terror alert in the
from US and
UK. Yes. What is your opinion on that?
Well, just like I have said, it's meant to be like a wake-up call. It's not like the UK and the US issued that to spite Nigerian government. I don't think so. But from the way the government is now taking it, they are taking it as if they deliberately UK and US issued that terror alert to spite them or to make mockery of the government. It shouldn't be like that. America is not like America is a superpower. It's the world police, whereby there are some intelligence report at their disposal that even a country will not even know about it. For instance, we saw it in 2 years ago, whereby they came here and free an American that was abducted by bandits in the northwest. They came here, they entered here, they conducted our operation successfully and left. That is to tell us that, look, there are some classified information at their disposal that the Nigerian authority and even the military here, they are not aware of it. After that one, we now saw it just last week. We saw how they conducted and raided an estate within Abuja in conjunction with the American Marine and the DSS. They conducted that and arrest was made. That is to tell us that, look, these guys, they know what they are saying. They know what they are doing. It's not like they are issuing a fiat alert to say, okay, they just want to cause havoc. No, that is not what they are doing. All they are doing is just to preempt an attack from happening. And that is why they now say, okay, our citizens in Abuja, our citizens within Nigeria, restrict your movement from so place to so place. Good that the National Assembly, the legislature, the third, which is another arms of the government too, they are now coming out to say, look, government, the executive, the federal government, please take this seriously. Don't look at it from the way you are taking it. Don't look at it from the angle of saying, oh, look, these guys, they're issuing this terror alert to like embarrass Nigerian government. No, that it shouldn't be so. America is not like, I'm sorry to say this, America is not like Kenya or South Africa that will just give you a clue and you say you ignore it. Once you ignore it at your own peril. That is what the National Assembly is telling the FG to do.
Okay, so let's, the next newspaper to discuss will be the Sun newspaper. The Sun newspaper, let's have our guest in, let's connect to our guest and from there we'll proceed. Good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Israel.
Good morning, we are live on Aspect TV. Sorry.
Oh, great. Good morning, Nigerian.
Good morning. So, quick one, we'll be discussing with you on the Daily Sun newspaper, just on the front page. I want to get your view and what is trending and what the nation is also going for. For the first to discuss on the Sun newspaper, we have 2023 Okowa tell to Igbos, don't abandon PDP candidate, your son-in-law. So, what does that tell you, sir?
Well, the election is getting closer, the tension is getting more intense. The fact of politicians are still making this look like a sectional battle. We are talking about the pool of Nigerians, 200 million people, over 200 ethnic groups with different languages. It is, the least. It is the need for us to start playing politics of tribes because Nigeria is at stake here. And for Okowa to come out and start talking to Igbos using this sentimental line, the same mistake was made with Atiku when he was talking to Northerners also was it Kaduna or Kano recently. The same mistake was made earlier by the APC candidate Bola Tinubu when he was saying that it is the time of the South. Of course, I think it's the time of the South, but it is really, really unfortunate that we still want to play ethnic cards. And this is one of the things that really, really made us more divided and united as a people. If we want a country, if we want the best for Nigeria, regardless of where the person is coming from, whether it is the minority or the majority ethnic group, the person that should be considered is how fit the person is. So for you to stick with Igos and say, don't abandon your candidates, your in-laws, this and that, for me, that is really an own goal for Okowa.
So let me just take you backward to what has been happening. That PDP have a 5G governor that is not supporting their presidential candidate. So, Otom give article condition for support. Then one PDP candidate for consequence of ignoring 5 governors. What these have been training for over 6 months now or 5 months since after the presidential primaries. What was their advice on that? What's their view on that, please?
I don't know. I'm sure whenever APC is seeing this news, I'm sure they are really, really happy involved. They are actually happy that this is happening presently to the opposition party. And I'm really, really surprised that PDP would play this card at a very sensitive time. This is one of the biggest opportunities for them to clinch this ticket. And I don't know how it became messier by today. You are supposed to be a governor, a stakeholder. You still want to run for elected offices, and you come to give simple thing for them to do was just leave the party. So if they have to give Atiku this much problem, is battling strategies on how to defeat a power broker like Tinubu, emerging forces like Peter Obi, and another neighbor right there in Kano, in person of Kwankwaso, and they will still be losing sleep trying to fix up 5G governors if these guys don't want to support him, they should just take a vow, leave the party. You cannot be there and be practicing anti-party policies. This is actually against the constitution, and maybe because of who they are. Some other persons by now would have gotten fired, sacked by the party.
Yes, or expelled from the party.
Nothing is happening. Yes, and that is really unfortunate, So they just want to ruin the party inside out. And I'm really, really sure that most of them after this election will take a move. There's going to be a movement. Yes, and it's really unfortunate that this is happening to Autumn, Atiku, and the like. So we had people that contested against Atiku. The River State governor was not the only person on that card. I don't know why he has to be a rebel. Please permit me to use that word. You now lead people, to start canvassing for support, in case there's a certain Saraki somewhere that also came really close, and they didn't get this mandate also. He has since realigned with the party's provisions, and is moving on. I think that's the reasonable thing for them to do right now. So that's what I think about that.
Okay, so let me also take you. Clark said yesterday that medical trip. You remember that medical trip, Buhari not transmitting power to Osinbajo, unconstitutional.
Coming from Clark, he said he's a lawyer. I watched that video. He said he's a lawyer.
Okay, he says a lawyer, yes.
He was quoting some parts of share, and I was quoting some parts of the constitution. It's not laughing. I'm not saying that we should negate the constitution. If as they have said that it's the right thing for them to do. But hey, my brother, this is not the first time Buhari is leading this country without handing over power. What is the sentiment about? He has been doing this, and of course people have been talking. Buhari is just going to do what he has to do every time he has to do it. And if he comes back now, we will see much fix the country in the 3 weeks that Buhari will be away. I know I agree that the right thing should be done according to the constitution, but the people that are supposed to be talking about it are not talking about it. That is the National Assembly. It is more of their business for them to be talking about why the president should leave or would leave without handing over power or without doing the right thing. So, Edwinka is another voice in the wilderness, talking about what is supposed to be done that is not done. It is something we will be used to, and thankfully in 4 months' time, we are hoping that there won't be another case where we'll be having medical petitions by whoever will be succeeding President Muhammadu Buhari.
All right, thank you. Just 2 questions before you leave, sir, please. EFCC arrests Kogi Assembly candidate with cash of 326 million and some US dollars.
When I was discussing with someone yesterday about all the flip sides to this news came up. And I really should admit that I think this was a very, very great move by the CBN to do this when they do it. Because if someone, just one person, the CBN governor said about 80% of cash in circulation is not to the bank. We are talking about being broke. We are talking about people not having money. So who are holding this money? They think that it is the 1% of the 1%, the real power brokers. But now, we are talking about 326 billion naira in cash and $610,000. That is that's of several billions of
naira. Yeah, exactly.
All this together. You start asking yourself that one person doing with almost a year budget of the state. This is really unfortunate. But my brother, I just want to know, is this going to be business as usual? What is going to happen? Is it going to be another case where the EFCC will go to court and they will lose again, or somebody will be just giving some pardon things? If the CBN has come up with something to expose these people, and in barely 1 week, we are pulling out something as big as this, the best way for them to do the right thing is to ensure that these people pay for it severely, so that the rest will understand that this is
No, 857. 857.
In Abuja.
In Abuja.
857.
Yes,
that,
yes.
That in Abuja, that is more than 40 Naira increase from what it was yesterday.
Exactly, yes.
So this is supposed to be the reason this person made this pronouncement. So it is working, it is paying off. The court, I'm just begging that the court should ensure that the defense should ensure that the right thing is done to make sure this is paid. So this kind of money, I mean, this person is going for National Assembly, a Kogi Assembly candidate. It's not even federal. State Assembly. And you have this money. So what should we be doing to presidential candidates? What should we be doing with governorship candidates? You know, we really have a problem in our hand, and if we really want solution, we must do more than just appearing in conference of newspapers. We must really push and make sure these people are well punished for this.
All right, thank you so much. But just one more question. One more question is: police grieved 8 domestic staff over boy's death. I mean, the video is 2 days ago. I mean, earlier hour of yesterday. Yes, there's a story that was circulating that he lost his son, and people were really wondering, and police arrested some of the domestic staff because we are told that he has about 8 staff at home when the incident happened because both parents were now around. So what is your general view as
well, first off, I would say my condolences go to the family of the people and the trauma, and their ability. And it's really unfortunate that this thing happened. But if we have to look at this holistically, some videos were making the round yesterday of a compound video of children, accidentally falling into the sea. Thankfully, some of them were rescued, or in this case, it was just unfortunate. Well, of course, anything, if it's a crime, if it's an incident, the police need to make some inquiry and go that they're asking questions. It has happened. I would not want us to, start saying that, that's the right thing to do or that's not the right thing to do. It has happened, and it was a need by as many people as possible. Unless there is something we don't know, about how that boy really passed, and I hope that is what the investigation is supposed to do. It's unfortunate that there are about 9 persons and they just had one job to do to take care of this, student staff. And it has to go into. So yes, it's good about what is happening, but then we really need to be more open-minded about it. And people need to know, when you are around those lands, this is that time where they are excited, they want to see things places. The moment you notice that there is silence from these people, some party or search party, they might be stuck up somewhere, they might just be somewhere that needs help, they just want to be expressive. It's really unfortunate, I think. But yes, police, when getting into the matter, it's not a bad idea at all.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Mr. Victor. We are really grateful for having you on this morning. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. He had what he just said.
Oh. Well, concerning the videos, I think the latest update now is that the police, after the 8 persons that were picked, 2 are being held back. That is the chef and the nanny, because they are based on the rumor we're hearing is that there is an argument between the chef and the nanny that the boy left and followed the chef while they were sitting outside. Then the nanny now assumed as if the boy was still with the chef.
Okay.
Whereas the chef now thought that the boy has returned back to meet the nanny. You understand? So, but it still doesn't add up, and I believe that is why the police is now holding them back to extract more information based on the interrogation. Well, I think there is a foul play somewhere, because this is a 3-year-old boy. It shows that they have been used to this boy. It's not like the boy is new to them or something like that they will just assume and say, okay, a child, I assume that the child is with you, or you say that you assume as if the child is with me, and this happened. The life of a boy has gone, and there is a terrible incident. It's really unfortunate. Well, the other side that you talk about Otom, I don't think that Otom is on the right path, although if somebody is like playing whoever played the piper, the tune, from that adage, you could see that Jose Wike has a deep pocket. Jose Wike is sitting over the treasury of Rivers State. Just yesterday, Governor Tom said that, look, 25 buses were donated by Governor Jose Wike to the PDP in Benue State, that they are going to distribute it to all the party chairmen within the local government there. So it means that Governor Tom has been like someone who, Governor Jose Wike is the one that is bankrolling PDP in these 4 states that are anti Atiku. Well, it's really sad that they claim to be party men, and exactly what they are doing now, just like Victor said, they are doing anti-party within the party to make sure that they weaken the party for APC and the Labour Party and the NNPP. That is exactly what they are doing. Honorably, what they're supposed to do is that if you are dissatisfied with the party, why don't you just bow out from the party to make sure that you go your own way, you explore some your political aspiration in other places. That is what is honorable for them to do. Well, they have not been able to do that, but for now, they remain within the party, and they are doing all the anti-party to the party. It's really sad that they are so powerful. Had it been it's just only one governor, I believe that if it is only Jose Wike himself, I believe by now the party would issue a suspension on him. Even at that, they can't do that because
that's what he said.
Yes, so that they cannot do that because they now look at the vote coming from Rivers. They now look at the pivotal role that Wike has been playing within the party all along, and that is why one thing I respect Atiku for all this while is that Atiku has not been able to say anything negative against Jose Wike or Tom. All he has been doing is to if they push him here, he will follow. They say that they should go to London to meet in London. He followed them there. Meeting elsewhere again, he followed them there. But the condition that they are giving him to say, okay, the party chairman should go, of which he now said, look, if the party chairman will go, party chairman is elected by the delegate, and if anything that will warrant him to go, he must pass through the legal process or the law of the party. That is what he said. But it's really sad that Otom is a governor that is aspiring to become a senator is doing that. Probably Jose Wike will get away with it, but I don't think Otom will get away with it because the party chairman, Yocha Ayutu, is from Benue State too. That is become an interesting thing. So we should just watch out what will happen on the February 25th.
All right, thank you so much. In case you want to join on this conversation or you want to call in to contribute on our please kindly dial our number +234 8099998117, and I repeat +234 8099998117. Please kindly call. You can also call out on WhatsApp. So if you want to contribute, if you have a contribution, you want to contribute, the line is now open for everyone to call. We'll have our next guest. Our next guest will join us shortly, and when our next guest joins us, let's try to figure out when our next guest joins us, and then they will be discussing the front page on the Nation newspaper.
Hello.
She will be discussing on the Nation newspaper and Leadership newspaper. Good morning, ma.
Good morning, Mr. Israel.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We are live on Aspheric TV.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much. So, quick one. We'll be discussing with you just some national issues, especially the frontline newspaper on the Nation in the Nation. And we want to begin. Want to ask you. Yesterday, there's a meeting in Lagos, and the presidential candidate of All Progressive Congress, Tinubu, said that he will unbundle transmission to provide power. That is what he made. That is the comment that he made yesterday. And what will you have to say about that?
The line is breaking a bit.
I just asked a question, and on the Nation newspaper front page.
Okay.
Yes. And the paper said, I will unbundle transmission to provide power, says Tinubu. What do you have to say about that, please?
All right. You know that campaign has kicked off, and all the political parties, presidential candidates have started their campaign. They are selling their manifestos and their plans. And the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Party, APC, as well as Bola Tinubu, yesterday he met some private investors in Lagos, and he was dishing out his plans and what he has to say. And one of the things he says is that he was going to unbundle the electricity, power generating electricity in Nigeria. Well, he talked about it, which is very, for me, we know that most of our economy is hinged on electricity. Nigeria's power is very, very important in any economy. Power, I would say, is one of the sources or one of the things that grows the economy. And you know the epileptic nature of Nigerians' electricity. So he says he's going to unbundle it. He's going to make sure that he decentralizes the transmission company of Nigeria. And with that, because according to some experts, because there was a time I was fortunate to interview some experts on this particular issue, you know, Nigerians' electricity, the problem so far and how far. And most of them were like unbundling the electricity in Nigeria is one major solution to redressing this issue of power. So I think it's a right step in the right direction. It was really gladdening to hear him talk about that. If it will be implemented, because implementation is not just saying, implementation is the key word. You know, he talked about the gross domestic product, which he said will make that it will grow to double digits. Double digits can only be achieved if there is an uninterrupted power supply. So that is where the electricity plays. Nigeria decides to choose him because power is in the hands of God and Nigerians. If he becomes and eventually does that, it's going to go a long way. Nigeria, you know, the problem we have, lack of electricity is affecting the small and medium scale enterprising, because which is a very, very key to every economy in the world. And the electricity is very important. The barbers, the tailors, the hairdressers, all these people that you think but they are the ones that actually run the economy. And without power, they find it very difficult. Most of the time, most of them are running on a genset, and you know the cost of that, what it entails to their business. So if you can unbundle that and make sure that it is done professionally, it's going to really help the economy and Nigeria as a whole.
Thank you so much. Let me also ask another question on the Nation newspaper. He said there's this story that came up yesterday. Passengers stranded at Union picked MMA2. That's in Lagos yesterday. If you that was protest yesterday. What do you have to say about that? Well, this is the festive season, and we're having all of this. There's fuel scarcity. There's no air travel.
The thing is that the issue of that is a result of one of the terminal operators sacked 37 workers and some union executives. And according to that terminal operator, I don't want to call their names, they are saying that the sack was as a result of the workers were sacked because they were unproductive. But the union are saying no. The way and manner they went about it is not right, and it was not because of unproductive. So the union went on strike and they closed down the airport, making a lot of stranded passengers, you know. So what I would say is that I don't know whether the union has exhausted other means, because they say dialogue does not always end. Dialogue is a continuous thing. I don't know how long they've dialogued with the terminal operators, and I don't know what is their response. But what I would say is that they should try and meet and talk and come to a compromise, so that, you know, because it is the passengers who are bearing the brunt. So they should meet a compromise, and whether they can maybe settle them financially so that they can start other business, or not just sacking them like that. Of workers, they should be, you know, other means that the worker can also hold hand and also take care of himself with what is happening globally, not just in Nigeria. So that is all I will say, is that there has to be a meeting point for both the terminal operators and also the union, where they can all come to a compromise for the benefit of everyone, the union, the terminal operators, and especially the passengers who are left stranded. Since yesterday, the airport has been closed.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of money will have gone down the drain.
Exactly.
Nigeria has lost millions with this now.
Including travel.
Calculate what the country has lost. I mean, the impact and the effect is really too much. So I will have to say.
Just for me, before you leave, please, I just want to answer these questions. Yesterday, the governor of Rivers State yesterday made a comment. He said, "You can't lead PDP to victory." He insisting that the PDP chairman cannot lead PDP to victory, and is he the chairman?
Well, the governor of Rivers State is entitled to his opinion. He's a governor and he has his opinion. And every Nigerian knows what has been happening to PDP and the governor. But one thing again that I have to point out is that 5 governors are very, very, very important. 5 governors are very, very key to every victory in an election. You can't say as the national chairman that Rivers State Governor, Benue, Oyo, and any of states that they are not important. I don't think so. PDP has to look for a way to make peace with all of them and carry everyone along. The governors too, all of them have to come. If the real PDP wants to win this election, every one of them must be carried along. The chairman, how you cannot say that those 5 governors, you know, without them they cannot win election. Well, I don't know the one magic he wants to use. But all I have to say is that the 5 governors are really important. And whether you will lead the PDP to victory or not, well, I don't really know much to say about that. But all I have to say is that Wike is saying that due to the way he's feeling, the way, and Ayu is also doing that due to, you know, there is a controversy between them.
Yes, yes.
For the party, for the benefit of the party, for the benefit of the People's Democratic Party, the governors and the national chairman have to come to a compromise.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, please. We are really grateful for joining us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, please. You heard what she said?
Yeah.
That the 5 governors are really important, whether it's for good or it's for bad, but they are really important. Is a huge.
Yeah, you know, in a democracy, especially in our own kind of democracy, governors are very important. You can't override the governors. Starting from the primary election, if you decide to override the governor, you are on your own. Because if you observe very well, you could see that the presidential candidate of APC relies heavily on the governors, because the governors are the people that hold, they are like the wedger that wedge almost everyone within their state together, and that is why he doesn't play with them. And you could see that at the town hall meeting in Lagos yesterday, how many governors, APC governors, they are there. That is what they are using. You must use that to hold on to the governors, to intimidate your opponent, and that is what PDP has not been able to do. 5 governors, if 5 governors should pull away from PDP, it means that PDP has gone. Let's not forget that, look, Peter Obi is coming from PDP. Kwankwaso is from PDP too. It means half of the people that are like sympathetic to PDP, they have gone. So, and the remaining people that they are now mismanaging it. It's really unfortunate that, look, Atiku has not been able to have a post primary election mediating mechanism whereby it will resolve some of the grievances from it, and it's degenerated to this level. Also, we should call on the 5 governors to look. Although in our own democracy here, it is very easier for politicians to move or port from one party to another party. Probably they have like their plan B, whereby if PDP eventually was defeated in the 2023 election, they will now move to any other party of their choice. They can do that, but they shouldn't do it to that level whereby their selfish interests will now override the party's interest. By the time they do that, it's boomerang on them, and that is where some of us are like telling them to, like, just like Inaya said, they should have a compromise. There should be a meeting point whereby their interests, their political interests as a party men, should override their selfish interests or their personal interests. We should call on them to do that. You just say Wike, Atiku, they should have that compromise to like do that. Iyochayu is from Benue State, so also Otomi is from Benue State too. So these are part of the conflict of interest here. So I believe that ahead of the election, something must be done by PDP and Wike and Atiku himself too.
Next discuss this morning will be on the Punch newspaper. The Punch newspaper will have the video autopsy likely as police free 6 workers detained 2. Yeah, the autopsy needed because
it's needed. It's needed. Anything that has to do with death and the police report, it must pass through the autopsy. It's the autopsy that will determine the nature of the cause of the death. Just like we said yesterday, we must just have to wait till the police report.
Yeah. Why I am better than Atiku Obi on economy, Tinubu. That was what he said yesterday. Yeah. EFCC plan massive raid on forest stealers.
Well, it's long overdue because you see that government will now, the CBN now will now give unofficial dollar rate. The BDC, the Bureau of Change people, they are there, they are on their own, they do whatever thing they like, up to the extent that dollar is going to 700 naira. You understand? Whereas the official selling rate is about 400 naira, and there's
dollar is 857.
As at yesterday, now that is how it now shoot up. But as 2 days ago, it was like 740 or 7 thereabout. But due to the rate now, the dollar now has now shoot up to almost about 850 naira. You understand? This is uncalled for. It means that some people are just milking this nation out of nothing. This money, this dollar is coming out from the CBN to the banks, and the bank now to the BDC, and within the BDC again they have some illegal operators within around the parallel market that they are selling this thing above the official selling price. DSS, EFCC, and even the police, they should go after them to make that to sanitize that place. By the time they sanitize it, you will now discover that the CBN will be able to like go a very long way to say, okay, with the policy of the new redesigning of the Naira and the sanitizing of the Bureau de Change, eventually Nigeria will become clean up. But I foresee a problem too. You understand that election is coming. Politicians like to catch on every opportunity to make gain out of it. By the time, okay, take for instance, just that yesterday raid, from 7 something now to over 800 naira.
857. So
it's going to be like a campaign thing for the opposition to like lash out at the ruling party to say, look, this thing you are talking about, this when you were like in the position you said you are going to make a naira equal to a dollar. These are some of this campaign thing that campaign of calumny that has been on for a very long time. So these are things that is making the ruling party to say, look, if you are going to plan on this policy, hold on. But for how long are we going to hold on instead of doing the right thing to make sure that we move Nigeria forward? You understand? So we commend the EFCC for going to this extent. They need to go all out, extend it beyond the Abuja and Kano, because as at yesterday, it's between Abuja and Kano that they have raided. They should go to Lagos, go to Port Harcourt, go to elsewhere and make sure that they sanitize and clean up this place. And again, they can't do it alone. The operators, that is the Bureau of Change operators, they have the association. The association should be able to help them. If they have those touts that are mixing and using them, they should spot out the tout so that the EFCC and the DSS can weed them out from them. You can't be operator of someone selling foreign exchange without a license. That is how it's supposed to be done. If all those touts are selling, so said, okay, for instance, you are asked to be selling dollar. It's not about even selling dollar. Where do you get your dollar from that you are selling? These are some of the questions that we need to answer ourselves.